the same time, we have reaffirmed again and again that the United States is not and never will be at war with Islam. Islam teaches peace. Muslims the world over aspire to live with dignity and a sense of justice.
All right, there he is doing what he does best, defending Islam at the United Nations. Joining us now, or joining us in a second, will be Ben Shapiro. But before we get to our next guest, I want to hear from you folks, and that's through our Newsmax poll. The question is, President Obama handling Islamic terror properly? Seems like a no-brainer, but please do vote. Go to newsmax.com/polls. Newsmax.com/polls and vote now. All right, editor-in-chief of Truth Revolt, editor-in-large at Breitbart News, and New York Times best-selling author, The People versus Barack Obama, the criminal case against the Obama administration, Ben Shapiro. And Ben, you know, you've written several pieces and talking about how the terrorists in the wake of the attack at the magazine actually won.
Yes, I mean the fact is that there were two values that were under attack by these terrorists. One was freedom of speech, and one was freedom of religion. And while the West is, you know, hashtagging and having their solidarity march, the truth is that both have been dramatically undermined by the West over the last 15 years, and we'll go right back to undermining them as soon as everybody forgets about this little inconvenience. Remember, Charlie Hebdo was being brought up on charges in 2006 of Islamophobia. Yes, they escaped the charges. That doesn't mean the charges weren't brought. Freedom of speech has been under attack by people who are deeply fearful about quote-unquote Islamophobia and believe that blasphemy should be illegal in various nations. And then as regards freedom of religion, it's pretty obvious that Jews have been under attack in France for the better part of 20 years now. Last year alone, more Jews left France and went to Israel than any other country. 5,000 Jews left France for Israel last year. That's 1% of the entire Jewish population of France, and the French had nothing to say about it. By the way, the French still have nothing to say about the fact that these Jews were killed at a supermarket. Francois Hollande, the president of France, tried to block Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu from even going to the Solidarity March on Sunday. So when it comes to freedom of speech and freedom of religion, the West is clearly in retreat, and so it's hard to say that these terrorists have not won.
Yeah, and of course, the non-showing of the cartoons, while the networks, you know, talk about the story and talk about the cartoons, but refuse to show the cartoons, right away leads you to believe that the terrorists have won.
Absolutely. I mean, when you look at the New York Daily News, and it is cowardice. I mean, it's pure cowardice. It's not a matter of principle or sensitivity. The New York Daily News printed a cover of Charlie Hebdo, and that cover had a picture of Muhammad, and it also had a picture of a stereotypical Jew, big nose and side locks, and the whole deal looked like straight from Der Stürmer, looked like a Nazi magazine. And when they did that, the Daily News blurred out the picture of Muhammad, but left intact the stereotypical picture of the Jew, which demonstrates it has nothing to do with sensitivity. It has to do purely with fear of the Islamists.
Yeah, you mentioned Benjamin Netanyahu, and that was terribly misleading. I mean, I was so impressed that the president of France called the act at the kosher market an anti-Semitic act. And then, of course, Netanyahu was there, and then he joined him at the synagogue. And then to come to find out, according to Israeli television, the French president wanted no part of Netanyahu, and then immediately picked up the phone when he found out that Netanyahu would show up and brought the terrorist in a suit, Mahmoud Abbas, there to lock arms with the Western leaders and with Netanyahu. It was disgusting.
Well, this is what's such a joke about this whole solidarity march. Everybody's talking about, oh, look how many leaders came, and why wasn't President Obama there? How about starting with, why was Mahmoud Abbas there? Why was the Prime Minister of Turkey there? Turkey is not exactly famed for its freedom of speech and anti-terror. Why was the UAE there? The UAE is not famous for its freedom of speech, and it has supported terror in the past. Mahmoud Abbas is a terror kingpin. And to invite somebody like that to a free speech anti-terror campaign, I mean, why not just invite the Kouachi brothers directly?
Yeah, no, you make a great point, and it is very frustrating, the whole thing. And of course, the White House today saying they should have sent somebody of a higher rank, but I don't think they mean it. I mean, I don't think they care.
No, of course not. I mean, when you see all these people talking about, oh, the Obama administration just didn't understand the optics. This is the most optically driven administration in American history. They understand optics better than any administration in the history of the United States. You're telling me that they just couldn't fathom the optics of not having a high-ranking American there, or did they just not care?
And what's with we got 30 seconds. Jake Tapper, he criticized the president. He wrote a piece. And even today he's saying, as he said all along, this is only my opinion. I'm not speaking for CNN. What's wrong with criticizing the president? They criticize everyone else.
Fair enough. I mean, I know Jake Tapper wants to be looked upon as an objective reporter. That's all well and good, but Yeah, it is amazing how the media will shy away. Jake Tapper even said this is not meant to be a criticism of the Obama administration in his original comments. I mean, then what exactly is it meant to be?
Ben, great to talk to you as always, sir. Ben Shapiro, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll be back with much, much more. Don't go away.